live from Japan. It is Tuesday, June 19th, and this is Stark Raving Totals. Welcome to the segment. That's where we talk about totals across the board in sports. We got 4 plays here on the card as we still are focusing on the WNBA. Huge slate of games for WNBA. We're not going to cover all of them, at least as far as my picks are concerned. MLB, a big day as well. World Cup, all sorts of stuff going on. Huge day for Japan, beating Colombia 2-1. It's really early in the morning for me, but I can't wait to talk to my father-in-law. I'm sure he is way fired up. So that game went off at 9 o'clock at night here, and I'm sure the country of Japan, I'm out in the countryside a little bit. I'm sure the country of Japan was just thumping. So I'll read all the news in just a little bit when we get done with this segment. So welcome. Good to see you guys. I'm sure you're going to come in and give some awesome comments, and we'll talk about the day of sports. This is about a 30-minute segment. We do Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. SBRpicks.com, Sportsbook review. That's the main webpage. YouTube channel. That's this, of course. And of course, we got Facebook. Got to check that out for some links and stuff like that. All sorts of segments going on for a Sportsbook review. I got my coffee. We're ready to roll. Okay. Let's just dive right in. So you guys are going to come in and give some awesome comments. If you've noticed, also recently, I've been jumping in to Jimmy and Pete show for a couple comments here and there, and I've been running really well the last few days. I dropped my play I put in there yesterday. I had the over with Cleveland, but they just didn't quite get there. So I had the over in one baseball game that I dropped for us. Our last segment, we were 0-2 in the WNBA, but we did hit our Major League Baseball pick, so that's good. So hopefully we'll be rolling on that. For the most part, though, the last few days have been pretty good. We've had our losses, but we are picking up some wins. Let's see how we do today. Let's jump right in, and then I'll get to your comments. So first game up here, we're going to go right to if I could talk, need to work on my grammar. It's early. You can tell I'm on vacation right now at this really lovely Japanese house that I'm staying at. My wife's parents, grandkids, they love it. All right. Major League Baseball. We're gonna have one pick on the card. I looked at this card for a long, long time, especially last night my time. I think there's some really good, compelling matchups across the board. Good day for baseball. I'm going with the first game on the board. And that's Milwaukee and Pittsburgh. So we got Peralta versus Tyon. Interesting line here. Oddsmakers came out with 8 at higher juice on the over. The public's on the under, and that bugs me, but I'm going under as well. I mean, it's pretty heavy on the under too, as far as the public's concerned. So when I look at this matchup, first of all, I really like Jameson Taillon. I have an affinity to back that guy, so just know that as well. And Peralta, he's going to be a stud. Holy cow, he's got 18 strikeouts in just over 9 innings of major league work. You look at his numbers, though. I mean, he's a real young guy. He's getting another start here, getting another opportunity. He's going to be a really good major league pitcher. His minor league numbers are fantastic. He's got a whip just over 1.2 around there. Batters are hitting just over 200 against him. His major league outings was fantastic at Colorado and then not so fantastic at Minnesota, but I think he pitches well today. Pittsburgh, over their last 3 games, they're hitting like 290, well over their season average. I mean, they've been hitting the ball really well, although yesterday was a low-scoring affair. I think Peralta comes in and does a sufficient enough job, especially with Milwaukee's bullpen. That's a really good bullpen. If he can get, a decent 5 innings, give it off to the bullpen, I think they can keep Pittsburgh to a reasonable number as well. And like I already said, I like Taillon. You look at I'm not going to get to Peralta too much because there's not a lot to go on. He's just had 2 major league starts, but he's solid, man. He's going to be good. He's going to be a really good pitcher. Young guy. I think he pitches well today. Taillon, 3.94 ERA, 1.20 whip, though. His numbers at home are not fantastic, but he's just had, if you look at him this season, he's had a couple rough outings. He had his ERA at home's just hovering around 4. That's because he had a really bad outing versus Detroit back in April. Yeah, at the end of April, where he got shelled. He gave up 2 jacks, 10 hits. Just did not have a good outing. But since that time, he got bumped around, a little bit at Cincinnati. That's it, though. I mean, he's been tough. He's given up 5 earned runs his last 12 innings. I think he pitches well today. Good Milwaukee team, but I think Taillon gets it done. So again, the line's at 8. I don't think they get there. I don't think some places it's dropped to 7.5, but for the most part, we're going to say 8 because that's where the line's at pretty much across the board, except for a couple of books. So I'm going under the 8 with Milwaukee and Pittsburgh. That's pretty much it. Statistically, they're both pretty good hitting teams. They're both in the top 10 in a lot of categories across the board. But I like both these starting pitchers to go ahead and keep it reasonable. And then for especially for Milwaukee's bullpen to come in and pitch well. That's it for Major League Baseball. For me, that's my one pick on the day. I got some leans out there as well. It probably won't be my only pick on the day. I'm probably gonna have about 5 picks today total. I got 4 right here for you guys that I'm gonna be playing personally. And that's it. So Major League Baseball, we are starting to pick up some steam, although I did drop the one pick I gave out yesterday. It was 8.5. They ended up at 8. And that was again, that was Cleveland and holy cow, who did they play? Why can't I remember this? Oh, and the White Sox. That's right. That's it. Major League Baseball done. Check that one off. WNBA. I get kind of fired up for that. Okay. Now let's really talk because it's basketball and you know how much I like basketball. All right, first game up here on the card. There's 5 games today in women's basketball. Let's dive right in. So first game up, we got Chicago Sky versus Washington Mystics. 171 it came out. It's now dropped to 169. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because you got first of all, Chicago can't shoot. They're shooting just 42.3% on the season. Washington's better at 45.4%. What really gets me on this game is you got Chicago averaging 78 points per game, and you got Washington averaging 83.5. Okay, so my math is not that great, but that's 161 points thereabouts, and they came out with 171, and now it's dropped to 169. Public's on the under. I'm going over. And let me tell you why I'm going over. Because these are the 2 worst defensive teams, or arguably, two of the worst out of like the. How do I want to put this? They're 2 of the worst teams defensively in the WNBA. Working on my semantics right now, but you have a Washington team right now. If I could say that right, Washington team right now they're allowing 84.7 points per game. Opponents are shooting 47.1% against them. That's worse in the WNBA. You want to know who's second? Second worst? That's the Chicago Sky. They're allowing opponents to shoot 46.4% and allowing opponents to average 86.6 points per game. Hi, good morning, sweetheart. Oh, you got your thing? Okay, put that in there. Hi, can you shut the door on the way out? My daughter is up. As you know, that's going to happen to me. Thank you. Okay, I got it. Okay, thank you. All right. My wife just grabbed my daughter. It's live. Things are going to happen like that when it's live. I don't know if you caught her. She was just off screen. So I'm going over. I'm going over the 169 because this line makes no sense to me. They haven't played this year. The 171, I think, is a ridiculous number. So I think odds makers are on top of this. I think we're getting to the point now in the WNBA season where there's been enough games where I think we're going to see odds makers get dialed in a little bit more. Although, we know what they put out is not going to be usually a good indicator of the final score. They set this high for a reason. So I'm going over the 169. Even though it's dropped, I'm still going over. Next one up. Dallas and Minnesota. Now we got a little bit of a frame of reference because they played earlier in the season. Odds makers count at 164. You got the public well on the under. Almost 87% of the public's on the under, but it's gone up. It's now at 165.5, and I'm going over. I'm going over this one. We have a frame of reference. Real quick, as far as the injuries are concerned, just to mention, with Minnesota, and Dallas, I did want to mention this. You have Christmas Kelly's out for Dallas. She's like their 4th leading scorer. And that was just about a week ago. So she's done. And then also for Minnesota, we have some information that Augustus is going to be out. She's a guard, and she's like the 3rd leading scorer. Okay. But still, the line's gone up, even though the public's on the under. So a little bit of steam move. That doesn't always really matter because whether we see a steam move or not, it's still, I'm going to handicap the game and just kind of take that into consideration. But this is why I like the over. Let me tell you why. Because they've already played this year. It was a 76-68 final, same spot, with Dallas traveling to Minnesota. This is what I like. neither team could shoot a lick in that game. Dallas shot 34.6%, Minnesota 37%. They're better than that. I mean, on the season, they're not a lot better, actually. Dallas is shooting just 42%, and Minnesota 44% on the season. But what I like is the pace. In that game, Dallas got up 81 attempts, Minnesota got up 73 attempts. I mean, Dallas has traditionally been in the WNBA, I've already mentioned this, a pretty up-tempo team. They have been playing some defense this year, but there's an issue with that. So we look at them percentage-wise, really, really good. They're the best in the NBA field goal percentage-wise. They're allowing opponents to shoot just 39.7%. But they are on the road, and despite that fact, they're allowing the most tempo, or second to most tempo in the WNBA, at allowing opponents to get up over 70 attempts. Plus, they're allowing opponents to score 80 points per game. So, take that as you will. The fact the percentage is low, I think Minnesota is going to be able to score as well. Although Dallas is shooting just 42%, they get to the line a lot. Actually, they get to the line more than anybody else in the WNBA. They're getting to the line 26.2 times per game. That's the best in WNBA. So if they can get to the rack, get some fouls, get some free throws, I mean, they're averaging 83 points per game, even though they're shooting just 42%. I think this goes over. So this is probably my favorite game of the day, actually. But it's still, for me, it's just a half unit. We're still on half units right now. Next week, I'll probably get back to units. So right now we have Washington, Chicago over the 169, Dallas, Minnesota over the 165.5. Last game up. We got Las Vegas versus the Seattle Storm. Oddsmakers came out with this one, 168.5. Public's a little bit on the under, and it's dropped just to 168. I'm going under. I think that's too many points. Again, we have a frame of reference. What really bugs me about this one is they've played to two really high scoring affairs. They've already played twice this year. In the last game they played, same spot here with Las Vegas traveling to Seattle. You can see I'm speaking kind of fast. I want to get this all in so I get to your comments. 101 to 74 final. But this is what I like. First of all, Seattle shot out of their minds, 53.6% overall. They shot 65% from distance. That's not going to happen again. And they only ended up at 175. This line's at 168. But the pace, Las Vegas got up just 63 attempts. Seattle got up 69 attempts. So if they stay with that pace, unless they shoot just phenomenally, they're not going to get to this 168. It's just too many points. As well, Seattle's a really good defensive team. Right now, the Storm are allowing opponents, well, they're more in the middle of the league. I thought they were a little bit better. I think I had them mixed up with someone else, but they're allowing opponents to shoot 45%. That's kind of in the middle of the league. They're okay from the interior extended. They're okay, and their opponents are averaging 83.7 points per game. Now, the last game we had with Las Vegas, we had the under against Phoenix, and they did go over the total because, well, the reason I wanted to take the under because Las Vegas doesn't shoot three a lot, and that's still true. That still, bodes true. It does bug me a little bit that Seattle is a really good scoring team. They shoot 47%, but their tempo is not really that fast. They average 67.5 attempts per game. That ranks kind of in the middle of the league, but they are averaging 90 points per game. So this is what bugs me about it's really the number. Okay, Las Vegas is an okay scoring team. They're shooting 42%. They're averaging 80. This is what bugs me. Okay, now I remember. Las Vegas is averaging 80 points per game. Seattle's averaging 90 points per game. They've already gone over the total twice this year, yet oddsmakers went under the 170. It went to 168. That bugs the crud out of me, so I'm going under the total. And the fact that the pace wasn't that fast in their earlier matchup. So this is a really interesting line for me. I mean, the fact that it's not at 170 or 171, that screams under to me. Okay, so I'm taking the under the 168, and that's it. I knew there was a reason why I had these plays. So I'm going off of one web page here for a lot of the statistics. You have to excuse me if I'm wavering, but these are my plays. So again, and then we'll recap. I got really fast today. Sorry, guys. Major League Baseball, we got Milwaukee, Pittsburgh under the 8. In WNBA, we got Washington, Chicago over the 169. Dallas, Minnesota over the 165.5. I like that game. And but that doesn't mean I'm putting any more money on it than any of the other ones. And then finally, Las Vegas and Seattle under the 168. That's what I got. What do you guys got for me? Let's talk. All right. If you'll notice as well, I'm wearing my headset. That's because I'm traveling. I didn't want to bring my big microphone with me. Triple beams. Good morning, Francisco. A lot of people I respect have the Braves today, but I see money going on the Jays. Also, do you like the Rangers today? Thanks. That's from my friend Francisco. Let's go ahead and look at that one. Atlanta, man, they've really played well this year. Let me take a look at that one. I don't know really, so I don't know enough about Soroka. Garcia's a decent major leaguer. I don't know enough about that game. And sorry, what was the other one you had there, Francisco? The Rangers. Not really a team I want to back ever. Hamels versus Hamill. What's the line on that? Sorry, I have my totals up right now, so I got to switch that over. Well, right now, let's go back to that Atlanta game real quick. You have, yeah, percentage-wise, the public's all over Atlanta, but the line has gone the other way. That would make me want to back Toronto, for sure. At least as far as the numbers concerned. But again, I don't know enough about Soroka, to be honest. And then we have Hamels versus Hamill, yeah. Yeah, and the public's all over Texas. But the line's dropped. Those are interesting ones you're looking at right now. For me, twist my arm, I would take Kansas City and I would take Toronto as it is right now because of the way the lines move. But we still got a couple hours before they go off. So I'd still want to see the way the line moves. And I definitely would want to research Soroka because I don't know. I know Cole Hamels, and I know Garcia and I know Hamill, but I don't know a lot about the other guy. Those are interesting ones. Okay. Good stuff, Francisco. Triple beans. My initial lean was over 7.5. I figured after 1-0 last night, books would be looking to trap more. Well, remember now the line comes out before that game's over. So the line was already set at 8 before the game even finished. We're talking about Pittsburgh and Milwaukee. Yeah, I like the under on that one. But again, the public's on the under, so not something I really like to do. That's something, but I had that handicap last night before I got up this morning and I saw the public was on the under. I already handicapped it under. Marco, hello. I'm well. As you can see, I'm here. I'm in the southern part of Japan. Marco, excuse me. Ron, morning chat. You look like an yeah, got my headset. I'm rolling like this for the next month. Marco, how do you like going against the line? Do you think it can be profitable to bet against a certain line in the long run? Well, not specifically like this is the one line I'm looking for and I'm going against that. No, I think that's too ambiguous. And I would need a little bit more clarification about going against the line. I would need a little bit more clarification about that. Okay. All right, let's continue on. Marco, good to see you. Ron, any leads on Japanese baseball? Had the Marines yesterday on the line movement. I had Rakuten on the line movement, actually. That was a big line. They went from plus 120 to minus 110 before first pitch. 5 minutes before the game went off, I put a unit on it. Yeah, that won. So I have nothing right now for Japanese baseball, but I could check real quick since you're asking. Oh, it's just one game actually. Yeah, I think it's Hanshin versus Buffaloes. I really like the starter for Oryx, but I don't know what the line is. And the game is at Hanshin. And the guy starting for Hanshin, I think it's his first start of the year. But I don't know if he's a rookie. I don't. He looks familiar, but I don't think I've seen him before. I like the starter for Oryx, but Hanshin at home, I don't know. They're probably favored a little bit. Just one game. I don't know. I'll have to see how the line moves on that one. So just nothing really right now. Little lean on Oryx, but not a lot. I would need to see the line and stuff. Let's continue on. Francisco, how about my Mexico beating? Yeah, the big bad Germans. How about Mexico City circle? A small earthquake. Yeah, I read that as well. I thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah, but World Cup's been really interesting so far. You got to like it though when there's upsets. I mean, again, Japan beating Colombia. Colombia just beat Japan 4-1. And now Japan beat them 2-1. That's just crazy, man. If I watched the recap of that Germany game, just like the highlights, and it seemed like Germany had a lot of opportunities that they missed. And that's the weird thing about soccer or football, if you will. It's a really fascinating sport. I really like it. I just don't handicap it. Marco, different room. Yep. Looks brighter and nicer. I like this new room. Well, I'm on vacation. Well, kind of vacation, visiting the in-laws. But yeah, like this, you really get a feel for Japan by looking at this room. A lot brighter and nicer. Hey, I like my that other room's at my house. This is kind of a lot nicer with the wood and everything. Yeah, it's a really nice looking building. And let's see, Kevin. Good day, everyone. Which game under? I already got for Major League Baseball, Milwaukee, Pittsburgh under the 8. I'll recap everything at the end. Triple Bean, start. Do you lean under the 11.5 in Coors tonight? Vargas, Marquez after the 14 run outburst. Yeah, but the sorry, I did have the over yesterday with that game as well for a half unit. I took the Mets, Colorado over the total, and there was some late inning magic to get over the total. I kind of like the over though, in that one. The Mets are really hitting, and I think Colorado's going to hit a lot better tonight. I kind of like the over in that one. I haven't looked at it that much, but I knew from yesterday that I was going to kind of like the over today, but no official decision. I would lean on the over personally. Dom Ricci, that game last night didn't go over till the ninth. Yeah, had the under. It was 62. Yeah, again, like I said, I got some late inning magic on that one. I had the over, so got lucky with that one. Excuse me. I need to buy some allergy medicine because that's the one thing I forgot. I'll need to buy that today. Francisco, I noticed Ted Covers almost always bets on overs in Major League Baseball, and today on Sportsbet he gives his reason. You might find that interesting. I will have to look at that. I'll have to look at that. Why he does that. There's a guy I really respect for as far as handicapping is concerned, and just respect. He's you know, I've only talked to him a couple times. Seems like a really decent person. Tamor, what's up? Dom Ricci, I had the Cubs under first game. It's 3-2 top of the ninth. Yeah, they're going against the Dodgers right now. Ron, WNBA Atlanta, Hayes, 18 points per game being out. Thoughts? Is Hayes out? I don't have that. One sec. For Atlanta. Oh, she is out. Sorry, the reason I didn't look at that is because I was focusing on the games that I was on top of as far as my handicapping, and it's a big day in WNBA with 5 games on the board. Well, the lines dropped on that one. I'm pretty sure they're playing the Sparks, right? Yeah. Oh no. Sorry, they're not. They're playing the Liberty. Excuse me. That line's low and it's dropped. It was like 150, 151. I don't know, but that's going to be probably a pretty slow pace game. I would lean on the under, but man, that's a really low total. That's kind of a tough one to call. I think that's why I laid off of it. And I think he's their leading scorer, right? I did know that. I checked last night. Oh, sorry. Message there. Okay. Tomorrow, I'm on Washington on the side. First half at 4.5. Washington talked a lot about how bad their defense was against LA in the last game. I don't trust the Sky to score. Yeah, you know what? You might be onto something there. For me, it's about the number. For me, the fact they came out at 171 really bugs me. I don't care. It's dropped a couple points. And yes, they did play just because you can talk about how bad they played defense, but that doesn't mean they're going to play great defense this game. And boy, you're right about them not shooting because we had the over and they couldn't score. So for me, this is kind of a reverse play or an opposite play where the line looks really stupid. The 171, it just looks way too high. So I'm going over. And it's dropped 2 points. So I'm going over the 169. I understand what you're saying, Timor. I hope you understand what I'm saying as well. So, I mean, if we're against each other on a play, that's fine. I'd like to go 3-1 today, but I'll take 2-2. I just want to kind of, again, I want to just pick up steam. As long as I'm not losing too many units, then I'm okay. It's weird, but again, 54% handicapper. Marco, I'm running cold right now. Cardinals really screwed me over last night. Had them on 2 different ways and 2 separate 2-team parlays. Parlays can be really tough, man, and they can be really heartbreaking. Dom Ricci, Francisco, tell us why. Tell us why about what? Oh, the Teddy Covers thing. Yeah, that'd be nice if he mentioned it. Tomorrow, Cubs just blew the lead in the ninth. Seems like the Dodgers never lose. Oh, really? I didn't see that. Wow. I know my boy Maeda was getting the start. J Peach, Marco just bet Astros and the overs. You'll be back in no time. Okay. Recommend it. Yeah, Astros red hot right now. Dom Ricci, Yankees now 13 unders in a row. I didn't know that. I know they've been really an unders team the last couple weeks. I didn't know it was 13 in a row. Wow. That's something to look into. Turbo Beam, start. When targeting a pitcher or pitchers in a bounce back spot, you said you like to back a pitcher after a bad start. Yeah. when the line looks a little low. What did we mean by line being low? Okay, so you have a pitcher who just gave up 6 runs, and let's say the other pitcher, let's say they gave up 5 runs. So combined, they both are coming off a bad start. Let's say the game's in the American League and the line's at like 7.5 or the line's at 8. Okay, say or they're both their ERAs are hovering around 4. They're coming off a bad start and the line's like at 8. That's kind of low for the American League. I would take the under. That's what I mean. I mean the odds makers setting the line low, like they're anticipating that at least not a high scoring affair. That's when I'll back the under. I hope that makes sense. Okay. You could switch some semantics there and make it a National League game. And let's say the same situation, National League game comes out at 7, and you're like 7, holy cow! That's when I would take the under. When I do this on a game, that's usually when I want to go opposite, and that's how I was with this Washington Chicago and WNBA game. I was like 171. Then I started digging into it. They're the 2 worst defensive teams in the WNBA percentage-wise, shooting percentage-wise against. That doesn't mean it's going to go over, or it doesn't mean it's going to go under, 100% because it's a sporting contest, and you just don't know how people are going to come out and play. You don't. You can make the best prediction you possibly can. That's why we do this segment, and that's why. But in the long run, if you stay consistent, you are going to profit. And I can go off on it. Let's continue. Triple beans, good stuff. David H. St. Louis bounce back tonight. Okay, Dom Ricci, Mets 4-12 to the under after 2 back-to-back overs. Yeah, that would make me want to back the over. Again, those trends, especially a really small window of games, 16 games. I mean, you have to look at it. Well, how are they in that same situation over, 5 years? But there's also you got to talk about the same sort of lineup and dynamics and who's in there. So there's a lot you could talk about. But as far as those trends go, I've mentioned this before. I'm not big on trends. I'm not. I mean, trends are very interesting to look at, but for me, at least the way I handicap, I don't really care. If anything, I'll go against trends because I'm always a believer that the mean or the medium is going to come back into play. Okay, but that is an awesome comment. We gotta hear stuff like that. That's information. We always want to get as much information as possible. So Dom, good stuff. Thank you. Marco, let's say the number moved 10 cents. Okay. You see the number move and no other reason, no injuries. Do you take that as a sign of additional value, or does that cause you to not bet the game? It could be either case. I mean, when you're talking about hypotheticals, it really depends on what I know about the teams, what I know about the starters. Like again, Atlanta today, I don't know anything about Soroka. I don't. So I would have to research that. And baseball is like that because there's so many players and there's so many different pitchers, and there's a lot to research. That's where you have to kind of focus in and hit your spots. I know Jameson Taillon is a good major league pitcher. I know Peralta is going to be a stud. I like the under. On top of the fact the way the line came out and everything. Whenever a line moves 10 cents or more, it would make me want to look at that line a little bit closer. But when there's this games today, it's really hard to focus in on every single game because again, this is not my career. Handicapping for me is an investment. It's part of a money making strategy I've implemented over the last several years of my life. I'm good at it, but with this many Major League Baseball games, I just I can't handicap them all. I got 2 kids and a wife. But I'm going to look at a lot of them. I'm going to look at a lot, or as many as I can. Even though I am kind of on vacation, but I just can't handicap every single game. Sorry, I got off to your question there just a little bit. If I was already looking at the game, it would make me look at it harder. Okay. David H. WNBA Minnesota first half. Okay. And the full. Jay Patel. From all your picks today, which do you feel the most confident in? The Dallas Minnesota over the 165.5. I don't know. I kind of like them all. Don't have my allergy medicine. Oh, gosh. I do have tissue ready. I gotta buy something there. All right. I answered Jay's question. Francisco, Germany did have opportunities, but they looked slow and lethargic, and Mexico looked fast and crisp with their passing. Thank you for the comment back. Hit money. Hi, Stark. I was looking into the Astros Rays game. I was thinking about taking Tampa with Snell pitching. Big plus number. Do you have an opinion? I would take Snell. Astros have been red hot, but I would definitely take Snell. I mean, they lost in the ninth inning yesterday, and Snell's been as good as they come this year. He's been really good. So yeah, I would take a shot with him for sure. Plus money value on Tampa Bay is a good team. They're not bad. They're not bad. They can hit a little bit. Triple beams. Marco, just stick to your capping. Okay. And we have to wrap this up here in just a couple minutes. So let's go ahead and finish up some final comments here. Tomorrow, I'm not on the total in the Washington game. I just thought their comments were interesting. Okay. Don is back. And I'm going to skip a couple comments here. Anything else for me? Talking to each other is awesome. Will the pen eventually. Yeah, Dom Ricci, Braves pitcher, pitched a gem last outing versus DeGrom, but the Mets weren't hitting. He might be getting too much respect off that performance. Okay, talking about again that the guy I don't know a lot about. All right, so let's wrap this up. So for me, first of all, thanks for coming in, guys. We'll be back on Thursday. Like the video, share the video, and for us, recap Major League Baseball. We got Milwaukee, Pittsburgh. We're going under the 8. WNBA, we got Washington, Chicago over the 169. Dallas, Minnesota over the 165.5, and Las Vegas and the Seattle Storm under the 168. Those are our 4 picks today. We'll be back on Thursday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. So tune in. I also will try to jump into Jimmy and Loshak's segment when I have a chance. Again, you guys are awesome. Thanks a lot for coming in. Like the video, share the video, and I just appreciate you guys coming in. So good luck today. Okay? Control your units, and we'll be back on Thursday. All right. Thanks for coming in, and take care.